boards don't hit back.
That's right. We watched Enter the Dragon this week on the Movie Gap, the podcast that has you scream.
How have you not seen that? 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 Little darling, how have you not seen this?
Welcome to this week's episode of the Movie Gap. I am your host, Bryce Levi, and as always, the boards that get broken, I got a better one. As always, the unnamed extra that gets his ass whooped super easily by one flick of a finger from Bruce Lee, Chase Austin.
Fucking Bryce.
Yeah, that's right. So, Chase, welcome to the show. Happy to have you on my show. You have, well, before we get into it, as we do every week, how have you been, Chase?
You're not going to explain what's going on before we get right into it.
Oh, yeah. So, welcome back to the show. This is the show where someone hasn't seen a classic movie, makes you go, what the fuck? Have you not seen that? This week we will be covering Enter the Dragon, and as loyal listeners of the show can tell, we have flipped the script because of all the people that have not seen this movie. I have, and Chase has not, or hadn't. Is that true?
Not since Field of Dreams was the last time we did this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, this one definitely is one of my movie gaps, or it was, and now it has been filled.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Yeah,
excited
good,
to talk about it.
Well, before we get into that, before we get into all that, Chase, how have you been?
Well, pretty good. Just been, watching movies. School's starting back up pretty soon. We're coming on the Chinese New Year.
Yeah,
which is
I believe is in February.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So it was a good time to do.
Sort of getting close to
movie.
It.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
And but yeah, I've just been relaxing a lot. I've been working on trying to get a deal with a sponsor.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. We've never had this before.
Yeah. No. I am very close.
Okay.
With Mr. T.
Mr. T.
Yeah, Mr. T. Not the one you're thinking of. I'm talking about the guy who is in charge of all the beverage tea, Mr. T.
Oh.
And
I see.
Yeah. And I'm working on a very lucrative, exclusive campaign with him right now.
Okay.
For him to become a sponsor on this show, just all tea.
Really?
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to share the profits on that.
No, this will all be mine. But
okay.
you
I don't know if
you may get more famous from it because it's just going to blow our whole podcast up. We're going to be huge.
Okay. Kind of sounds like a screw deal for me on my end, but I'm happy for you.
Well, you shouldn't have killed Mr. Coffee, allegedly.
Yeah, that is still alleged, and we're not talking about that, Chase. Yeah. Okay. And you fucking rat bastard. You knew I was trying to talk to Mr. T.
Hey, he approached me.
Now I'm finding out you fucking swoop in.
Look.
And you fucking cut me out of the deal.
I pity the fool who falls asleep on a deal like this.
See, that's the Mr. T I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I
don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. He's an actor. He was in a Rocky movie, Rocky 3.
Mr. T, he was telling me, he's like, look, I pity the fool who won't deal with
What is this Mr. T look like?
He's a large man.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got a beard.
Okay.
I wouldn't say he's bald.
Uh-huh.
You know, he's got hair like on top of his head, not all over it. It's very very unique. He wears a lot of jewelry, but not in like an effeminate way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it makes him look real badass. A lot of heavy chains and stuff. Mostly gold, I would say.
Uh-huh.
You know, so but yeah, he's a
Sounds pretty
gentleman.
familiar.
He's a gentleman.
Is he a
Yeah.
gentleman?
Yeah.
And
He's
he
like-
and you said that he told you that he pities the fool that doesn't get on that deal. He
Yeah.
said those were his words.
Yeah. He says that a lot.
Did he have any when you were doing these dealings with him? And did you happen to ask him about like
Well, he said-
what he saw in the future for the deal?
Yeah, he
did
said
he say anything?
He said that he wanted me on his team,
uh-huh.
and that he is not even the B team. He wants me on his A team.
Mm-hmm. He said 18?
He said the A team. He said you're going to be on the A team with me.
Okay.
And
That sounds like
I said, you know, I love it when a plan comes together.
yeah. And about the future of the plan, did he have any did he have any predictions? Did he say anything? Like when you were like, what do you foresee in this plan? Did he say any one word predictions or anything like that?
No,
Oh, then it's not the same guy.
no,
Okay, good.
I don't know. No.
I was because it was. I'm not gonna lie, dude. It was sounding like you were talking about the Mr. T I was talking about, but until that,
No, don't be a fool. Don't be a fool.
I'm really confused. But we'll move on. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll move on here. But also fuck you for cutting me out of that fucking deal.
Yeah,
Okay,
well.
you son of a bitch. I don't know if we
You
can
know,
continue
You
this
flip the
fucking
script.
show.
You flip the script.
Yeah,
Like, that kind of thing happens to
yeah.
you.
The
Doesn't feel
script
so good.
definitely got flipped
Doesn't
on
feel so good.
my ass. Yeah, you're right. I haven't felt this bad since Mr. Coffee died. Allegedly.
Well, no, he did die.
Right.
We know that.
Okay, yeah, that part is
Yeah.
okay. I can confirm. My lawyers did say I can confirm that he has actually passed away. But anyway, sounds like you had a great week.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chase, this is your first time seeing Enter the Dragon. Is that true?
Absolutely true.
Okay. Why is that?
Even-
How
even-
did this fall through
Yeah.
your movie gaps?
Even watching it, I was like, man, I've never seen any of this. I did not know
Wow.
anything about it.
You never saw the boards don't hit back scene?
No.
Wow.
I mean, I've heard that line, I guess.
Yeah. I've
But,
said
like,
it to you a
You know,
couple
there's
of times.
there's a lot of things that I recognize as like cultural things, you know.
Mhm.
I don't think I've seen any Bruce Lee movies.
Okay.
You know, I knew that he does the wah, that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
You know,
That's pretty good.
And
How about those overdubs, by the way?
well, I honestly,
We'll get
I'm
into
not
it.
I'm not crazy about his sound effects. I'm really not.
What? It's the best part.
I do. When he's doing it, it's fine. It's when it's overdubbed in the slow mo that I'm like, okay, this seems silly.
Oh, really?
And there's parts of
Really?
it.
That's
Yeah,
the
we'll get
be-
into
we'll
it.
Get into it.
We'll get into it. There, I don't want to jump the gun, but yeah. So I had never seen this movie. I was not really a huge martial arts film buff. Like
Mhm.
that was not the one that got me into film stuff. So it wasn't really until college that my friend Stillman showed me a whole bunch of older martial arts films. Like most of them were like Jackie Chan, like Legend of Drunken Master
Mhm.
and stuff. And I like those. And I've seen Bloodsport. A lot of the Jean-Claude Van Damme, and so a lot of the lesser ones. This is
Yeah.
definitely better.
Right, and those-
I did notice right off the top that this is the same director. Robert Close is the director of Jim Cotta, which I don't know if you've ever seen Jim Cotta,
Mm-mm.
but it is a very strange movie.
Sounds like something I gotta see.
You gotta see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a gymnast who has to like save the world with karate, and it's bad. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Sounds
Anyway,
like I
so-
don't gotta see it.
yeah.
Gotta see it.
But yeah, this has yeah. So this one just kind of slipped through the cracks. I I got real into Tony Jaa right around the time that The Protector came out, and then I saw Ong Bak and Ong Bak 2, and and then there's not really The Raid Redemption, which is not really a kung fu movie or a martial arts movie or anything, but there is a lot of it in there. And if you haven't seen that, that's awesome. So yeah, that's where
most of these movies.
Yeah, that's where my my martial arts films kind of go. And I grew up on Walker.
Well, and, Chuck Norris is a very famous disciple of
and he was in a Bruce Lee movie,
disciple, like he's Jesus.
Yeah.
Huh?
Wasn't he in a Bruce
yes,
Lee movie?
He was.
Wasn't that the Game of Death or whatever? Or is it the other one?
No, if it's Big Boss or Game of Death, but it's one of those.
Okay. And then Sammo Hung, who's also a famous martial artist, who is in this movie. I saw his name.
Yeah.
And he was in a show called Martial Law that followed up Walker, and he was like a detective. And
now, who is Sammo Hung? Because you did mention that he was in it, and I was like, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, he. I don't know what he was in this. He was just like another one of the guys. I think him and I know Bruce Lee. I mean, not Bruce. Bruce Lee was in this. Jackie Chan was like an extra too. And and a choreographer, I believe, as well. Part of it. I know that Bruce Lee did the choreography, the fight choreography, but maybe it's just stunts or something like that.
But
I know
would be surprised if Bruce Lee.
He must have been stunts, not.
I'm pretty sure Bruce Lee basically took blanket credit for it all.
Yeah. But he wasn't doing all the stunts because he was
right
doing all his.
He liked to have his hand in all of it.
Yeah,
he certainly.
Well, it says there's a title card. Right up there. It says, stunt choreography or fight choreography. I think it says fight choreography. Bruce Lee, real big.
Yeah. Real big. He definitely wanted like I said, I'd be surprised if he did even ask Jackie Chan to do that, but who knows? I do know there is a little interesting tidbit about Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan working together in this movie, where Bruce Lee actually struck Jackie Chan in the face with one of his fighting sticks. He immediately apologized and insisted that Chan could work on all of his movies after that.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, Lee died before he could keep the promise.
Well, this was his. This was
which is interesting because he was working on another movie, didn't offer it there.
Yeah. So this was early. I mean, he died young. I know, like that. But was this? How many movies did Bruce Lee do? Because he only did 2 in English, right? This one and Game of Death?
No.
Or did he do...
No, Big Boss was in English, I believe.
Was that after this one?
No, it was his first American movie, I believe. I can get the number on that real quick.
This was his first American movie?
No,
or Big Boss?
Big Boss.
Okay.
I can, I'll pull that info up for you there. Yeah. But, that being said, yeah, it is interesting to know that Jackie Chan was working. I mean, he's a guy that just had his fucking, like, everything that Americans know about martial arts, really. Bruce Lee kind of has his hand in getting that fucking message
and
across.
Brought it over here, yeah.
Yeah, and he paid a price for it. He was not, he broke from his original I don't know, not dojo, but his original, I guess, what would you call it?
Shaolin Temple.
Yeah, his original karate school to develop his own fight style, which came to be known as Jeet Kune Do, and they did not like that, and they basically were after him for his entire life after that, and there's even people that speculate they had something to do with his sudden passing.
Oh.
So yeah, he paid the price, but we all know as Americans so much more about Eastern culture in general because of Bruce Lee. I mean, what can you say? Yeah,
so I did not realize that this movie was exploitation kind of film. Like I knew that it was a kung fu film or a martial arts film, but I didn't realize that it wasn't. I was expecting sort of like some sort of like Akira Kurosawa samurai art film with I knew that there was fighting in it.
Yeah.
And that's all I knew. and I thought it was. I didn't realize it was very Americanized, to the point where like Bruce Lee's not even really the star.
Yeah.
Like the hero, he's the guy that wins and fights,
Yeah.
and like he has the storyline. But like really, it's John Saxon,
Yeah.
Roper, Mr. Roper. Which, like, come on, Three's Company.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know. Three's Company?
Yeah, Mr. Roper. He was the
Who's that?
landlord.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
That was my first thought.
That went over my head.
But
You're old.
yeah, very old. Old
man.
soul, old man.
Old soul, old bowl.
But yeah. So anyway, I hadn't seen it, and then I watched it. So That's where we're
you say yeah, it is. You said I think you said the word was Americanized, but the thing is that it's like all the shit after him is because of this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it's only Americanized because so much has been built off of it from Hollywood since then.
Well, but I mean,
But it was produced for Hollywood.
Yeah, what I mean is like it doesn't feel like it's super like culturally accurate to like some sort of like, you know, like when you watch the samurai films.
Well, yeah,
there's like
it's not. Yeah, it's
a
not
heritage. Like this feels made up.
Well, this was also produced by Hollywood,
Yeah.
made in Hollywood,
Yeah.
made for Hollywood. I mean, it is a Hollywood film.
And
this
I
was
love
after he had broken into Hollywood.
there's something about that, this aesthetic that comes from these films that are shot in English, but everything's dubbed.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. And that was actually one of my questions for
Because
you.
that reminds me of like
did that
spaghetti
annoy you, or how
westerns.
did you feel about it?
No, it has the right feel because it also got that old like film stock that has that warm feel to it.
Well, that was a shitty soundbite. It was just something I just pulled while we were talking.
Yeah, but you know, it's like a spaghetti western. It's got that warm film glow to it. It's kind of, you know, it has a feeling, and then like that overdubbing. It reminds me of, you know, the old Clint Eastwood movies, and you know, there's a bunch of like Italian horror films that
Right.
are
Well, I
with
mean,
American actors.
for
and
all
everything.
intents and purposes, it is an old movie that was done on even for that time a relatively low budget.
Yeah. Oh.
So what happened? You all right?
Yeah, my screen went to sleep. I thought I died. No, I got plenty of life. All right.
And so yeah, you see it in the production a little bit.
Yeah.
Certainly. There you
But
go.
yeah, and like the whole film, like all the way throughout it, there's a lot of like there's not a ton of like shots that are super impressive for any one reason or the other, but there's a lot of interesting choices that are made, and it feels like you know, like a grindhouse style film where it's like they're trying shit, but it's not necessarily for art's sake or
Yeah.
for meaning.
Yeah.
Now you could bring meaning into it. That's what film theory is all about and everything.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like the director or anybody was like, we have to shoot it this way because it's going to convey this feeling and this meaning. You know, it's just like, wow, it'd be really cool if we see the guy's claw, like he's fighting Bruce Lee in first person, like you're getting your ass kicked by Bruce Lee.
Right.
you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
What did you think of the fact that on one of his claws he had put fur on
the
it?
Trump hair,
Yeah.
like that's the first thing I thought. I was like, wow, that looks like Trump's
It
hair
was
on
so-
that bear claw.
It was so cute.
Yeah.
He like
And then-
that.
and
He's putting his claw together. He's like, I can't wait to
it
whip people's
glued
ass
in.
with this.
And then
Oh,
the best
then
part
hair,
is
that's so
the
cute.
best part is that's the last shot of the movie. Is just that claw.
Yes, I know.
in there.
man.
They're like whoever designed that prop.
Was
They're like
real proud of that shit.
This
Yeah.
is the number one thing.
It literally looked like a piece of wood with some shit on the end of it that they just glued some fucking
yeah.
fur to.
Which like every other claw looked cooler. The fucking
Right.
metal hand was the most
Dude, that
badass
was the most
thing.
badass.
I
and then
had a
as
note
the
on
fight's
that,
going,
too.
you see the swipes, which had to have been a continuity nightmare.
Yeah.
The cuts and stuff as he's going, but that like wasn't that fucking badass? Like as the fight is going, you can see more and more cuts on him and shit.
Yeah.
And you can fucking see the damage in that way.
Now I felt like that whole we'll
was
get
the
to
note
it. Yeah,
about
we'll get to
Vega?
it. What?
Was the
No,
note
my
about-
note was, holy
Street
shit, he's
Fighter?
got a metal hand.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But we'll get to it. So I want to go kind of in
Yeah,
order.
go,
here.
yeah, sure. We'll keep
So,
going down your list there.
So we ready to start it?
Well, we've
my
been,
list?
baby.
Okay,
We're
yeah.
in it, baby. We're
All right,
in it now.
my first note was I love a good cold open. Like this movie just like starts.
dude, and it's a long one too.
Yeah.
Like by the time that the credits start rolling, you forget that there should have been credits.
Because like it's got the big Warner symbol and everything, and then the movie just kind of starts, and then it's like a good like credit sequence of like it looks super expensive because of all the boats and all the shots they're getting, but it's also like they probably just filmed somewhere. Like I mean, they definitely filmed in China.
Yeah. I don't know. It could have been San Francisco. Oh, for when the boats. And stuff. Yeah.
Like those are probably just boats that were somewhere. So like
Hong Kong,
that's just
maybe
using production value.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So I really like that. I like the English dub stuff. Then I noticed it was the Jim Cotta director.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then I got on this kick. This is before I knew about Mr. Roper.
Oh wait, real quick to answer your question about Bruce Lee's first movie. He had ones before the beginning of this that weren't necessarily his like kung fu films that he made famous. As far as I know, it looks like he had one called A Walk in the Spring Rain, which was an American romantic drama film, so not a kung fu film. And then right after that, the next year was The Big Boss. It's a Hong Kong martial arts film, so but starred Bruce Lee in his first major film. And then after that was Fist of Fury.
I've heard of that one.
Which I did not know. That's another Hong Kong action martial arts film starring him and written by the same people that did the Big Boss. And then there's Way of the Dragon, which that's the one that had Chuck Norris in it.
Okay.
And that was right before Enter the Dragon, which I'm, according to Wikipedia, finding out for the first time in my life, was released posthumously. Apparently, he had already passed away before they released Enter the Dragon.
I knew that. And then he was already filming another movie, and they had to cut around it to make it.
He was doing the Green Hornet, which he played the Green Hornet in or Kato, in the Green Hornet, which Once Upon a Time in Hollywood talks about. But he was filming Game of Death in another movie called Circle of Iron.
Yeah. And
then Game of Death 2. He was also working on that apparently, which they finally did release Game of Death in 1978, just using as much as of the finished stuff that they could, and then filling in.
So
after that,
that leads me to something. Knowing that the movie that came out before this, the one with Chuck Norris, that was, what was it called?
Way of the Dragon.
Way of the Dragon. Is that why this is called Enter the Dragon? Because it has nothing to do with anything. I couldn't figure out why.
I was trying to think. I'm thinking maybe the best I could come up with was the fact that he got those girls stoned on heroin, and so that was the entering of the dragon.
But like that's not. Yeah.
But no. I mean, it could be.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out like the his teacher that sends him off in the first place or whatever. Well, I guess
no, that special agent.
Well, but the teacher sends him first or warns him about the guy about Han first, and then so he's sent for like 3 reasons.
Yeah,
so he's sent for. The teacher says you got to stop this guy Han because he's perverting everything.
Well, and it was because Han defected from their temple, which is interesting because that's what Bruce Lee did in real life.
Yeah, and then the British guy, what was his name, Halsworth or something?
The liaison or whatever that one was sent to go get information. Or
Braithwaite.
Liaison's not the right word.
There it is.
Braithwaite. Yeah.
So he sent him, like he hired him. So all of a sudden, this is going to be like a spy movie, which I totally did not know.
Right. and I forgot about how much of that was an aspect to the plot.
Because it seems like it's a thick plot, but then it's kind of not.
But it's not, because at the end of the day, you are more entertained and interested in the martial arts tournament that he's doing, and then just watching Bruce Lee fucking work. And
then
kick people's asses is fucking awesome.
We see him leaving. We see him leaving on the boat. It does a flashback, and Braithwaite tells him that he's got to go. And then we also get a flashback of him talking to his dad, and his dad's like, "Oh, by the way, the guy who killed your sister, or your sister killed herself so she wouldn't get raped, was working for him,
right?
And you'll know him because he's got a big old scar."
Yeah. So, and then he ends up getting his revenge. That's where the boards don't hit back comes from.
Yeah, and I like how. So first of all, I had a note that his name is Lee.
Right.
You know, and I thought that was kind of funny because like he's famous as Bruce Lee, so they named him Bruce Lee. It felt like he's like a '90s comic with a sitcom.
Right.
They always named him their first name. Like
Yeah.
Tim
Right.
Allen,
Right.
Ray.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry.
Jerry.
Yeah. And,
Well, his actual title was Mr. Lee. They do not give him a first name.
yeah.
So
So Mr. Lee is
yeah.
But that made me think of that. I was like,
Right. So they did
couldn't,
it,
like,
but
remember his name?
reverse.
Yeah.
They used the last name instead of the first name.
and then I like the opening title and how. So I knew who John Saxon was because of Nightmare on Elm Street, and then
we
and
finally get to see this, and I talked about
Yeah.
that. Oh, I saw that from that. That's where we discovered that you hadn't seen this movie.
yeah, and then so watching like those scenes of them like arriving through that thing, and I knew that they were characters. Him and Williams
Mm-hmm.
were like characters that were going to be in this film as you were seeing it, and you don't know who they are, why they're going, but we already know there's an element of espionage going on. So it's like, all right, and they're not explaining who they are yet in this in the opening credits sequence, and I kind of like that. And then I like that the at the very beginning when the guy was talking to him about how there's no guns on this whole island or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, and it set it up to be like not only are there no guns, you don't have to worry about guns and everything because everybody knows guns are pussies. Like, fuck guns.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I thought that was neat.
Yeah.
And then that first like big fight scene where the sister's running through the city
Yeah.
and everything instantly gave me flashbacks. I've been watching that Cobra Kai,
Yeah.
and like Cobra Kai is a weird show.
Right.
I really love it, but it's very similar to where it's like just people fighting and running, and like they'll fight, run, and then it's that running through the hallway thing of where it's like very choreographed running,
Right, yeah.
and it's just like a constant stream of people where they're just running to another place to fight.
Yep.
It just always makes me laugh.
That
a little
shit,
bit.
that shit was big in the 70s.
Yeah.
Man. We saw a little bit of that in Dirty Harry, where it was just at the chase scene at the end where they're on foot. It was just a bunch of shots of them running through that old mill.
Yeah.
You know,
and then
to set up them seeing each other
that's
again.
the entire movie of
Right.
The Warriors, if you've ever seen that. Which I don't think you have.
Right. Yeah. And I've played the video game. We used to play that video game. It was awesome.
Yeah, that video game was badass.
Yeah, it was badass. You could do the cocaine and it would like make your controller buzz and shit, and you'd be like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, we should do that movie at some point. So yeah, then the coolest shot was the fucking point of view suicide.
Yeah.
Was so baller.
Right.
Where like it's just you're seeing the glass.
Yeah.
Like she's holding that glass out in front of her. And like I was like, man, that is a choice.
There's a lot of great shots in this movie. It's a very aesthetically pleasing movie.
And I love a good POV, and especially when it's something interesting like that. And they do that a lot in this movie. And one thing that I noticed, other than the suicide shot, it's always the enemy's POV. Because I feel like that could say something. Like
wait, what do you mean?
Like Bolo, was that the name of the?
It wasn't
the big
the
guy?
enemy's POV when she killed herself, though.
No, that's what I said. Other than that, it was the POV of like because it's like Bolo and it's this big lumbering cam, and like they move the camera. It's his point of view.
Yeah.
Like they move it like him, and then it's the Han, and like you see his claw in the POV like you're a first person video game almost.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And I thought those were always interesting, and I get it. Like you don't do a Bruce Lee movie and not show Bruce Lee fighting.
Right.
It's like you wouldn't do Bruce Lee in point of view.
Right.
So like
exactly.
that's why they did it. And it looks cool. But like it also feels weird like Bruce Lee is fighting the audience.
Right.
Like so it's like it says something there of just like we're the enemy to this.
That's interesting. I think it's definitely more along the lines of you got to get as much Bruce Lee on that fucking camera as possible. But anyway, keep going down your nose. So this is very good stuff, Chaz.
Yeah, so
I think the people are entertained. Are you entertained out there, people?
So then I was laughing about Mr. Roper, and I kept thinking about Three's Company and how like after this movie he got married and became a landlord, and it was like, John Ritter's gay, and
fan theory, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
But then Saxon, this whole movie, he kept reminding me of somebody.
Who? You know what, man? I had the same fucking thought, dude.
I wanted
but I
to
couldn't
think
put my
if you could
fucking
figure it out.
finger on it.
I mean, from the beginning, and then it keep going through. Now, the person I'm thinking of is not like a badass. Like Saxon or Roper is a fucking badass.
Okay.
I love his character.
He is. I agree. His character is awesome.
Yeah.
And I love their like.
Now, is he
their
a real life
immediate
fighter?
friendship? No, not as far as I know, and you can kind of tell. And that's what I was going to ask you about. What did you think of him doing karate versus watching Bruce Lee do karate?
I thought he was. Well, it's very different, but it looked like good to me. I
noticed a marked difference. Like his kicks
Well, it
were
looked
like
like-
if I was trying to kick somebody.
It definitely looked like Bruce Lee
my sciatic
wasn't
nerve
pulling his punches and stuff as
it
much.
looked like his sciatic nerve was bothering him, and so he could barely like move
He is
his
older.
fucking But yeah, as far as I know, he's not a martial artist of any kind. But I do love their like immediate kind of mutual respect for each other
Yeah.
when they first meet. you
even
know?
with the gambling.
Yeah.
I love that
and then they end up just being
thread
buddies.
of gambling too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, want to bet? Yeah, and he would just start throwing gambling things in when it didn't even make sense.
Just
like
fighting
good-
over the bugs.
Yeah,
and-
good morning, Mr. Roper. Hit me. You know, does it? Yeah. It's like, okay, we get it. You love gambling.
we
All
get
right.
it.
It's character
But
development.
Adam Scott, that's who it was.
Oh,
like he has that
really?
same face, and
He does kind of have a
delivery.
Scotty face.
Yeah, and like it just is like
his face is
kinda-
very Scottish,
Yeah,
as I like to
He
say.
very much reminded me of Adam Scott. The whole movie.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Maybe that's who he was reminding me of too, subconsciously. I never was able to put my finger on it, so maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I can go with that. I can rock with that.
So, but again, like I don't see Adam Scott like rebooting this. No, he would not play that part.
No, well, he's
But,
about that age.
I know, but it doesn't fit.
You don't think he could pull off being a
No.
you know, dick swinging, rough, tough
Karate
and-
guy. No,
karate guy?
because he's not rough enough, and like there's like even though the
Wow,
even
calling
though,
Adam Scott a pussy right on the show.
even though
Here
Saxon,
we go, breaking
you
news.
know, even though Roper like reminded me of him in his delivery and stuff, it was still different. Like it is, I don't know. There was something that wasn't connecting there.
yeah,
You know? But yeah. Anyway, so that's what he reminded me of. So yeah, and then
I could see that.
so we get to the tournament part, and like this tournament never really started. I felt like they
Right.
fought like every day they
Well,
would
then
fight
you-
like one fight.
But then you find out later, which I thought was cool, which I didn't realize from the first few times I had seen it because I was younger when I had seen it. It's one of those I was watched with my dad growing up, and you realize it's discovered that the tournament is bullshit to him anyway. It's
Yeah.
all a front to recruit people to
To
join
be
in his smuggling business. So it does make sense that it doesn't really feel like a real tournament's going on because at the end of the day, there's not, or at least that's how I saw it. But you are right. The tournament seemed to kind of have a
It's like
a
we're all
slow
gonna go out
pace
and
to it.
punch for 45 minutes, and then two guys will fight, and then we're like, well, now it's dinner time.
yeah, right,
yeah.
right.
And then there was a Chinese guy that in that first tournament scene that definitely had a Hitler mustache, like hardcore, and they kept
Yeah.
cutting back to him, and I was like, what is going on?
Wait, are you
there?
talking about the guy he was doing the bet with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was some cool, lighthearted, like those old
Well, and it
school
shows like how
comedic
badass
moments.
he is too,
Right.
Because he's like getting hit on purpose, and then
Right.
he knocks the guy the fuck out.
And that was cool because he wasn't even Mr. Lee wasn't even in on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just kind of was like, "Oh, I see you're going to bet on this. I'll make it work for
that
you."
was Williams. That was he was betting.
Oh,
with.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Because
Oh,
he and
they were
Williams
old
were best
buddies.
friends.
They were
yeah.
old buddies. That's
from
right.
from Nam, I think.
Yeah.
they
So
said.
they could
Yeah.
just do that just with the look of the eye. you
Yeah.
know?
Although it was pretty. I like Williams was real cool about like keeping it DL. Like
Yeah.
he was like
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
like Saxon Roper, he would look up and be like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, one more time, one more time. Okay, are you sure?
Yeah.
we're gonna rip him off.
Right,
Okay, now
right.
it's time. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
way
When's
too
the ripoff?
telegraphic.
When's the ripoff? Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just telegraphing way too much.
Yep. But
And then it became like the very first Metal Gear with the fucking sentries that were walking around who are just all incredible dolts.
Yeah. What's you talking about? Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah,
Okay.
where they're
The
just
game?
like dolts, dumb, very much like I walk this round.
Yeah.
Then I stop, look around.
Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I hear something. I guess it was a cricket.
Yeah,
you
right,
know?
right.
But I did love that
Total
first,
NPC.
and I love that first guy walking around like twirling the nunchucks like a rent-a-cop.
Did you say
Wait.
nunchucks?
Nunchucks.
Loser. You said nunchucks.
Anyway,
I'm just
I
kidding.
knew what I was saying.
Yeah.
And he hits that dragon, or he hits that lion thing.
Yeah.
And it looked to me like that thing had been hit many times, which just in my head, it was like, this guy walks the same beat every night,
Yeah.
swinging this thing, always hits it. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, stupid lion. Like, never just,
Yeah.
yeah, they were all very dumb, very easily put upon.
Yeah.
And I also couldn't figure out, I was like, so you got a rope. Why do you need the bag? Of course, the bag comes
The
into
bag
play.
came
for
back
the-
to play.
Yeah, but he didn't know that he was going to have
Right.
to catch snake.
Right.
But it's just, he's like, got this little bag, and he's like, oh, I better put my rope in this
Yeah,
little bag.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, why don't you just have the rope?
Well,
around,
just
you know?
in case, and this is just my theory, it's just in case when he does get caught by someone sees him, and instead of he's holding a rope, he can explain it and go, this is just my bag.
Yeah.
You don't need to know what's in here. That could be,
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so I just ruined your whole thought on that.
Well,
I apologize.
and then I thought about, like, when he was looking down on the people and they were moving those barrels
Mm-hmm.
with that dolly, you know? And I was like, man, like, the dolly is the same as it was 50 years ago.
Yeah.
You get a simple machine like that, you don't really change it. They're all scratched. I wonder how many dollies are just the same dollies from 50 years ago.
I mean, it's something that doesn't need improved.
And like, everybody's got a dolly. Like, everybody's dad's like got a dolly.
You
And then
can
eventually it becomes your dolly.
You can do little things to make them better, like what they have done, like make them with better wheels or make them
Yeah.
longer lasting and shit. But at
Like,
the
if
end of the
you're just
day, it's
moving
just
on- yeah.
it's a simple design to get a job done.
Yeah, it's a simple machine, and they have like the same bars, the same,
Yeah.
they're orange or they're green. Like,
So what are you thinking? Are you thinking there's a market out there for super dollies?
no, I mean, I'm just saying that's an interesting thing. Like, that
Maybe you and
technology
me
has
should have a
not found a
discussion.
better way.
Yeah. Maybe
You
you should
really
meet-
can't make a better dolly. It's a simple machine that still works.
You and me should have a discussion after this. Come up with a new dolly to change, to revolutionize the dolly. Pitch it to Elon Musk. We're billionaires, and we'll be set. How about that?
Yeah, I wonder if what were the dollies that they used for like making like Stonehenge? Probably the same.
Yeah,
They might have been
but
made out
with
of
like
stone.
wood and logs.
Yeah.
I mean, stone and logs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Well, except for the fact that Stonehenge was put together by aliens, of course, using technology not of this world, but
No, I think it was pagans. It was normal people. Like, witch pagans and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think that was I don't think Stonehenge was aliens.
I don't know. Have you
I
seen
think
it?
Easter Island was aliens.
I need you to check out this show. It's a documentary called
Signs.
Ancient Aliens.
Are they
and
talking about
it
Stonehenge? I
will
bet they
blow
talk
your
about
mind,
Stonehenge.
dude. It will blow your fucking mind. Okay. But anyway, what else you got there, Chaz?
Yeah, and then they fucking kill Williams. That sucked.
I know, man. But like, good on
Because at this point in
good
the
on
movie,
Roper for being like, fuck you.
yeah. Well, at this point in the movie, Roper and Williams are the leads.
I know,
You know, like, I don't-
you really don't see
you-
much of Bruce.
Bruce, like, because he doesn't really talk to anyone,
Right.
and he fights, but like at this point, he hadn't really fought.
Right.
And then he doesn't fight until Roper decides to not fight too.
Yeah.
he doesn't want to fight him,
Mm-hmm.
and then they become best buds
Right.
immediately.
Right.
So at this point in the movie, it's like Bruce Lee's just kind of bombing around. We know that he's looking for all the information, and I guess we know that Roper and Williams are literally there for the tournament.
Yeah.
They're not there,
Right. Yeah. They
secretly
think.
or anything.
Well, they think they're there for the tournament.
yeah.
And interesting bit of trivia about the tournament and the island, and how Han had all those women there for them and everything.
Uh-huh.
Wine and dine them, so that you can rope them into your
Yeah.
smuggling scheme. The production had trouble finding actresses to play prostitutes, so they hired real life prostitutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
so it is a little bit of a little bit of snuff going on.
Yeah, there was a little bit of nudity, but definitely nothing like
nothing like Wolf of Wall Street.
no, nothing like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was all side boob.
yeah, side boob stuff,
Yeah.
tasteful,
It was nothing. Yeah,
tasteful. But they actually were prostitutes. Wolf of Wall Street, not real prostitutes, and they're showing full on bush and everything. You know, so what can you do?
but
The times have changed.
Yeah, so this movie, when they kill Williams, it really changes pace. Like it starts getting faster.
Well, and then
Obviously.
it's Enter the Dragon, Bruce
Yeah,
Lee.
Enter
Then
the
it's
Dragon,
time
he's
for
a
him
badass.
to maybe that's why it's called Enter the Dragon.
Yeah. I loved his hand. So, we see his metal hand that he kills Williams with, and then he's walking Roper through the museum of all these weapon artifacts, and we come across this whole row of just like hand weapons, and I was like, well, I know what those are for. That's
Yeah.
what he puts on his hand.
Yeah.
And then the last one is like the skeleton of a hand, and he goes,
Yeah.
"That's special." I was like, "That's his fucking hand."
Yeah.
Like that's his real hand.
Right.
Like,
That's
how did this fucker lose his hand?
Yeah. They
Or
never
did he
tell
cut
you.
it off?
They never
to
fucking
put it
tell you.
on?
He still had it. He had the skeleton of it.
Yeah. So like, did he cut it off?
Yeah. It's not like
to
he
make-
lost it.
Yeah. Or did he? And like he killed the guy,
Yeah.
cut it off, and kept
and
it.
took it back.
Or
yeah.
did he cut it off because he's like, it would be much more badass than a hand that has a Trump wig on it.
Right. I
And
know.
a-
I mean,
3 claws. Clunk, clunk,
yeah.
clunk,
and
clunk.
who can deny on a piece of wood, on a block of wood?
Yeah.
Who can deny? See, but here's the thing. That hand was useless against Scarface because we all know that he's the master of breaking boards of wood. So if he tried to fucking fight him with that
Yeah.
hand, all he would have to do is just be like, "Pacha."
Clink.
Boards don't hit back, Mr. Han. You got to find something else.
Oh
there,
yeah,
buddy.
and I also love that fucking douchebag guy that was on the boat at the beginning.
Yeah.
He was like,
Oh,
bye, fuck
yeah.
you.
I
saw that coming,
It's called
too.
The Art of Fighting Without
not-
Fighting.
yeah. He's like, why don't you get on this boat? I was like, he's gonna let that guy go.
Yeah.
Like 100%, he's letting that guy go.
Right. It's like,
And he
how did
did.
you fall for that? Fucking limeys.
Yeah,
Love you, Ed.
I loved it.
Yeah, okay. So what else you got there?
Then we were coming across all those. First of all, pumping those whores full of drugs. that's shitty.
Well, you put it that way.
Yeah, that's shitty, and that still
yeah.
goes on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it certainly does.
And it made me
Houston's a
think
hub
of-
for it.
It made me think of a
Unfortunately.
Deadwood with the
Nope, haven't seen it.
yeah. There's a whole part where the Chinatown part of Deadwood, they were bringing in Chinese prostitutes, which were Chinese women that they would sell to the workers who couldn't afford like the regular prostitutes. And
Yeah.
they could afford to sell these poor women. Like they would sell them for like no money to have
Mhm.
sex with them, and then they just literally got fucked to death. Like,
Yeah,
they wouldn't feed them. And then
Yeah.
it was cheaper to just let them die and get a new one.
right.
It's fucking awful.
Yeah, it is.
And and then this, but opiates and opioid crisis still topical. And then all those guys that were all hung up in there, and I was like, oh, those fuckers. He's like, they got drunk in seaports and stuff. I was like, those fuckers got shanghaied. And then Bruce Lee immediately goes, Roper goes, shanghaied. And I was like, yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You
And
and Roper are two peas.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He's cool.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Quickly to interject your list there to answer a couple of questions you had. This is one of 2 English language movies in which Bruce Lee speaks with his natural voice. The other one is a movie called Marlowe that was done in 1969. So every other movie he's done either in Cantonese or Chinese, but I believe Cantonese, or had
somebody
his
else's
voice overdubbed. Yeah.
Okay.
And along the lines of the overdubs, this movie was filmed without sound.
Yeah.
Every single sound, all dialogue and
Yeah, that's why
effects
it
were
doesn't-
dubbed in during
Yeah.
post-production.
I mean, and you could tell that they're speaking English,
Yeah. Right.
but it's all definitely overdubbed.
Yeah.
And then, like the Williams and Roper, their stuff matches better because, and even Lee's matches better because they're native speakers. And you could tell, like, the old, like, Chinese guy, like, you could tell when it's not their voice.
Yeah. Right.
And
Yeah,
they
like his dad, that was not that dude's
no,
voice.
not at all. Like, that was Wally Beaver or something.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like,
yeah.
yeah,
He was like, there's something you must know about your sister.
yeah.
What the fuck?
And like you can tell like the way that their mouths move that they're like forming the words phonetically.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna fill this in with a native speaker later. And you know that's a trick that's done especially in these lower budget movies like that where they film them somewhere else and do that. So like I said, it's got an aesthetic to it.
Right.
But yeah, no, you could tell.
There.
You all right?
Yeah.
But you could tell, and one thing is that when you're doing a fight, you know, a kung fu movie or martial arts movie or any movie with like fighting and stuff, all the sounds are added in later anyway because you're not breaking. You're gonna die there.
My voice didn't come back from getting little sputs in there.
But you know, because you're not actually hitting the person, and it's if you ever watch a movie without the sound on, like it feels stupid because you have to hear it to sell the effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And it's kind of like with you know, watching like professional wrestling, like they hit the ground or they slap each other to make a noise that fills in the punch. And I think that's why that's one of the reasons that like the sound effects that Bruce Lee was making seem so off-putting is that they definitely felt like he was just watching his own thing, almost a parody of his own sounds.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't doing like the whoopsh, psh
no,
sounds.
the ha, like all that stuff.
Well, that stuff.
Now, and then that leads me to another thing.
It doesn't feel like it feels like a parody because so many people have parodied him, though.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
it seemed like the parodies of him are where you hear somebody doing that at every motion, and he does it on like every motion. You know, it's wah wah ya wah, like he's doing a lot of it.
Yeah,
it seems silly, and then the part that that feels silly
that's
is
kind of how he did.
Yeah, but the
did
part
in real life.
Though. I mean, yeah, he's making the faces that he's making those noises when it's done. It's not like he's putting those noises in when in the moment he wasn't making a noise or something. I just think it's something that I guess I don't know. Is that his trademark? Because you don't really see that as much. I don't think in other.
What, him doing that films. And making those sounds?
Yeah, was that like something he decided on doing, or is that part of?
I mean, I think it was just came out of him. It was just how he did it in real life, and so he wanted to depict it in his portrayals of the movies.
The slow-mo when you hear the sound, him making those sounds felt weird.
Sure, I mean, and I can understand that. It was epic, though, wasn't it?
There was a lot of slow-mo where I didn't feel like there needed to be.
Yeah,
it would be like the final stance of him, like which are all those images.
Do that face again?
You know, and like all those images are like the images of Bruce Lee that I've seen, but it's like that's not like the slow mo would be like the front kick to the face and the guy's body flying. Right, is what I would see in slow mo, not him like moving to like back into frame.
What's the face again?
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. I mean, I don't know. I loved the slow mo. I love the aesthetic of that. Like the finalizing, like when he fucking finishes off Scarface, dude, and it's like it just lingers on his face.
Yeah, it points back to
but you're right.
Like a fatality.
I always thought that. That particular one where his overdub lingers just like so quietly over it. That there was something strange about that. Like even as a kid, it was just like that is weird.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. It's strange.
But I like it. It doesn't bother me. It does the opposite. It pleases me. You know. But I mean, I see where you're coming from. I just hope that it didn't ruin. When I was rewatching it, I was like, man, I forgot like how distinct the fucking sounds are of him doing the whoa and shit like that.
Very distinct. Whoosh. Yeah.
And I loved it, and I was like, man, I wonder what because it's your first fucking exposure to all of that aesthetically. So I was really interested to see what you would think
like
of it.
I mean, I enjoy like that, the sound effect, like that's all part of it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. And I mean, I had a lot of fun watching this movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great movie. It's just like, that's something that, stuck out to me, that I was not expecting it to be that prevalent and that specific. I thought that the parody of it that I've seen was a heightened version of it. And it really is very heightened to begin with.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, it is not, no pun intended, over the top. Speaking about Jean-Luc Picard from before, whatever his name is, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Nope.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I forgot. I'm not the movie guy. I don't know.
you really took this flip the script
I know,
too far.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to make connections
There
that
we
I know
go.
nothing about.
Yeah, sorry, that's Sylvester Stallone. I forgot. But anyway,
I like that he used the snake. He brought the snake back to scare those people.
Bruce Lee tapped the cobra 10 times. Only once did he get bit. So he actually did get bit by that
so
snake.
that was when he was tapping that thing, it was a real snake.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was like slapping at it, and
Yeah.
it made me think of like, it looked like a big old rubber snake.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, it was like your dick when it doesn't work. And you're
Right.
like, wake up, and you're like
Yeah.
slapping
I don't know
it.
what that is,
It's
but
like,
I guess I know.
You just got you got to whip
I guess
your
I
dick
could
out,
imagine
you're
it
like,
being
wake
like
up,
that.
Wake up. You like pap it like a is this
Oh.
thing on? Is this thing on?
Is that what you have to do? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you gotta
I
pull it
didn't
out
know.
and slap it.
Oh, never been there, but yeah, I guess I could see
Well,
that.
when you get older,
Okay.
you'll realize.
You are very old. You like Three's Company.
I'm about to be. You're older next week.
Yeah,
Or
that's
something
right.
like that.
That's right. Happy birthday!
Yeah.
It's gonna be your birthday episode. Yeah, he got bit by that snake though. I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was a real snake at one point. I didn't really think the whole time it was real. Because when he was slapping it, it looked very rubber.
Right. Well, according to this,
It was real.
he was slapping that thing and it bit him.
I'll tell you what. There is no shame in nut shots in this fighting style.
Oh no! Right?
They
yeah.
nut shot a lot.
Yeah.
And
It's-
then it's like, yeah, I won. I was like, huh?
It's almost treated like, hey, if you were stupid enough to offer
yeah.
it, I'm gonna
Well,
fucking
and
kick you right in the balls.
Rightfully so in these cases when you're fighting to your death. But I feel like in the tournament style, like maybe don't, like, isn't that against the rules? But then
Right.
again, it's not a real
But it's
tournament
Han's,
anyway.
yeah, it's Han's rules.
Yeah.
Speaking of Han, him defecting from the Shaolin Temple,
Mm-hmm.
it would seem that Han went solo. All right, so anyway, I was wrong about John Saxon. You asked earlier if he knew karate.
Yeah.
John Saxon was cast because he had a black belt in karate.
There you go.
So the more you know, you know.
Now, and that's got to be different than black belts, like from when we were kids, because I don't feel like, I don't know, I've never.
no, the black belts when we were kids, that shit wasn't real.
Yeah, because like the kids who are, that's another problem I have with with Cobra Kai. It's like the kids who do karate are not threatening. You know, even when they're like, "I'm going to fight you with my karate," it's like you're going to warm up in my direction. You
Yeah.
know, it's not like
Right.
again, boards don't hit back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, we all knew the kid that was taking karate lessons when we were growing up. And it was just like, oh, cool, you're doing karate now.
Yeah.
Well, you know, good for you.
So like,
Karate in America in the 90s was not fucking Bruce Lee.
no, it
you know.
was Karate Kid.
Yeah, it was Karate Kid,
Yeah.
but even worse than that
Yeah.
by the time our generation was doing it. But yeah, John Saxon had a black belt, so I stand corrected. I apologize to all the Saxonites out there, all the Saxons out there that are watching,
And I heard
yelling at the TV.
I heard this a lot. If I got it right,
Let me see.
so
Dude,
much
they were-
Wilhelm.
Well, no,
Or is
but
it
they
not-
didn't ever use the Wilhelm. I was waiting for it.
It all sounded like that.
But it all sounded. But yeah, there was
But it was
definitely
a higher
a
pitch.
lot of.
There's a lot of higher pitch, It's just like the same one over and over again.
Yeah. When they're being thrown over into the water and stuff.
And it wasn't the Howler one.
No. It was never that one. But yeah, I was waiting for that too. I was like, are they going to throw a Wilhelm in there? But this was back in the time when the Wilhelm was becoming that legend anyway, right? But yeah, definitely. Another quick tidbit. Production was halted briefly when a young woman's body was found near the set. So there's a little bit of a real-life murder mystery going on.
Was she one of the real-life prostitutes?
It doesn't say. It does not say. It just says a young woman's body.
Wow.
So, interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get to that last fight scene.
Let's.
So before the Hall of Mirrors sequence, there were a lot. Like, I really liked the, not the actor blocking, but the camera blocking.
Yeah.
Was really cool the way it followed, and like there was some really interesting shots of we never got a full on like one-on-one fight, which is what I was expecting more of.
Yeah.
Like all of the fights with Bruce Lee and like the major big fights were not like what I was expecting, like with Ong Bak and Jackie Chan and stuff. It was more cuts.
Yeah.
And it was more close-up stuff.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting that. I was expecting, like, we're going to watch a karate tournament.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And,
which there was some of that.
Right.
The big scenes.
Yeah, right.
But this was a lot more, like, you'd see a shot of, like, him in the, like, on the other side of the cabinet, and then the guy would punch through the cabinet.
Right.
And then one of the coolest ones was where it's, like, Bruce Lee, and then the guy, like, pops up, and, like, it's just this massive kick to the side of the head, and the guy just goes fuck down.
Yeah.
And you could tell, like, excuse me, I got too excited. You could tell it's a dummy, but like it looks so good that I don't care. It's just like he fucking knocked that guy down.
Right.
We only saw shadow.
Yeah.
And then the whole mirror sequence. The Hall of Mirrors was so cool and shot so well, and I was terrifyingly like. You couldn't tell what was going on, but then I realized like it's just a walled it's just a couple of mirrors on walls.
Yeah,
like, it's only disorienting because we're only watching it through the mirrors.
Right.
Like they didn't it wasn't actually a hall of mirrors.
No, actually, a little factoid: over 8,000 mirrors were used to set up the Hall of Mirrors where the cinematic duel takes place.
Yeah, but it was all like on these walls. It didn't feel like it felt like if it took a step back, like it was just a room with mirrors on the wall.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like we were going through a haunted house, like a Hall of Mirrors.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I know that's what it was supposed to be set up as, and maybe in their mind it was.
Yeah,
but I didn't feel like I was in that place as much as I felt like. It felt like kind of cheating, almost.
It was not disorienting to you?
No, it was very disorienting, but only because we were only being shown disorienting shots.
Well, that's how all Hall of Mirrors.
Well, no, like I'm saying, it didn't seem like they were going through a hall. It seemed like they were in a big square room.
Right. Well, they were.
And they were only showing us through these like mirrors that weren't moving, but somehow they were moving.
Yeah. What did you think of that fucking epic shot of the fucking kick when he kicked Han and it was all you saw? It was in the mirror where it was all spliced up, so it looked like 10 of each side just going.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Awesome.
And then the voice of the teacher saying something that we have never heard before.
What?
Like just him being like, "Don't forget, like if there's mirrors, break them."
Like,
basically, the enemy's vision or whatever he says.
Yeah,
so it's like he didn't tell him that.
Right.
Like, we weren't privy to it. Like because he's not. It was like a use the Force Luke moment. But he wasn't talking to him.
Right.
He wasn't a ghost.
Right.
Or anything like that. He was just like sitting there remembering. Oh, I remember what my master told me at the beginning.
I eavesdropped on my master talking to the person. Or designing his house.
Yeah, even if he had told Bruce Lee that or Mr. Lee that, even if he had told him, we weren't privy to it. So us hearing it as he is recollecting it and it not cutting to seeing that just felt weird where he was just like, Ah, yes.
Right.
Now
right.
I know what to do.
Yeah.
And so I was expecting something like that to happen where he was going to break the mirrors or whatever. But what I was thinking was going to happen was because he was all bloody.
Yeah.
Is that and like he leaned up against at one point he got knocked up against the mirror and he's got the scratch on
Yeah.
his back.
Right.
And when he got off of it, his blood
The
was
blood
on
was
it.
there.
So I thought he was going to start like touching
Doing that.
the mirrors,
And marking the
yeah,
with
and
the
then
blood.
be able to see
Yeah.
it. But then he
Yeah.
went with the break
Yeah.
because that looks cooler.
Yep.
Again, you get more.
And
Reflections.
apparently he was holding a little piece of lead in his hand to break those mirrors as he punched.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so he cheated a little bit. He wasn't
Well,
really punching.
Mirrors do hit.
Mirrors
back.
do hit back. Yeah,
They hit back.
yeah, they hit back hard. They slice.
So anyway, that's yeah. Then it just kind of ends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
After
and
the giant fight scene,
Braithwaite
after they show that that one lady, the main hostess lady, dies. Okay, good to know. I guess like they didn't need to show that.
because
He had fallen in
yeah,
love.
he had a little crush on her.
Yeah.
And then like in the middle of the fight with Han, it cuts to Britain and it's Braithwaite or whatever, and he's like getting a phone call saying, "Hey, 30 minutes ago he called you and said that all the shit's going down or
Right.
whatever." We don't hear that side of the
Right.
conversation. He goes, "What? 30 minutes ago?
Yeah.
You should have woken me up sooner.
Yeah.
Get the choppers. Let's go get
Yeah,
them."
yeah,
And
yeah.
then they come in.
Right. Yeah.
They've already
He's
won.
like, fuck, they're fucked. Yeah. He would feel really bad if they all died.
Yeah.
He'd be feeling really bad.
Well, or whoever didn't tell him 30 minutes earlier.
Right, exactly. Okay. Was there anything else you had there? We're getting up on around an hour here.
No, that's it.
That was it. We hit all of your notes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I talked about the Bolo POV cam and how it like lumbered.
Yeah.
Like I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
And did you think that Bolo was gonna end up? Did you think John Saxon's character was gonna die at any point in time?
no, until Williams died because I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
right.
and then it like because I knew that he left to go running or exercising or whatever when he wasn't supposed to, and then Bruce Lee snuck out, and the only one that saw him sneak out was the girl that he was in cahoots with.
Yeah.
And then, puberty check.
Yep. Yep.
But then, whoever Williams was with, they told on him, and that's why they thought he was a guy. So at that point, I was like, oh, he's dead now.
Right.
But that was a pretty brutal beating with that lead hand. So I was like, well, now anything could happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I knew Bruce Lee wasn't going to die.
Right. Right.
You know, because he was like, he's the star of this movie, even though I really feel like up until the fight scenes, it's
a lot less of him than you think you're in for.
But yeah, no, I loved Roper. He was the fucking shit.
It's John Saxon, baby.
Yeah.
And then just for the people wanting to know, let's see about when this was released versus when he died. Let's see here. I had it pulled up and I lost it, so you can Google it. Anyway, no, it said that he died 3 weeks. He died in Hong Kong 3 weeks before this movie was released. So he was able to finish it. He died during the lead up to the release, so very unfortunate. And it ended up becoming his most famous work. So
Yeah.
Okay, shall we get into some numbers?
Sure.
All right, Chaz. Now, this was from a time when box office, we've discussed already, box office numbers were kind of, no one was really tallying them the way that they do now.
Well, they ran for so long.
Yeah, and then there's all different kinds of ways to tally it.
Well, it was all money.
Right. But because of the long runnings and all that, and all this and that, so it's a little bit of a challenge here.
Okay.
The budget is estimated at $850,000.
All right.
Which I don't know for that time. I think maybe that's a little bit. That's a smaller budget.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean
not
anything
sure.
under $1 million is going to be pretty small.
But it was the first Chinese martial arts movie that was produced by a major Hollywood studio. So breaking down barriers left and right over here. I mean, it's a historic film made for $850,000. I have two I don't have any domestic because, of the times. All they have is worldwide, and there's two very conflicting numbers.
All right.
So let's see if you can get near either of them.
If it's, there's probably like original release and then overall.
Let me see if they have a weekend. I don't even think they have.
Well,
that.
no, not a weekend, like the original run. Because
no,
like this is like come out.
Well,
like
so
is one of
not,
them
is
is one of
not
them
set
like
up like that?
Is one of them like 300 million and another one like 15 million or something?
Yeah, sort of something like that.
Okay. Yeah, then it's probably either domestic and worldwide, or it's like the original, release. And then
there's three different numbers that I've found.
Okay.
But all of them only give me gross worldwide.
Okay.
And that's it. And they don't specify what that means.
Well,
they don't specify
say,
original run or total run or what.
I'm going to say if it's the low end one, that would be the original run. And I'm going to say like 25 million.
You are way off, my friend. You fucking blew it, dude. You blew it. According to IMDb, the small number I have here, the gross worldwide was $42,000. $42,805.
Okay, so like that isn't right.
I mean,
whatever
it
that
says
is,
it right there.
This movie would have never been,
but
like that doesn't even cover the.
I know it
costs.
makes no sense. But listen, the other number I have in the trivia here, is that it grossed 90 million worldwide.
Okay.
But then there was another number I pulled up on a different website that said that it grossed like 24.3 million. So, you tell me, man.
Yeah, those numbers are not right.
They didn't fucking keep track of that shit, I guess.
Did you look it up on Wikipedia?
No, it was some like other shit, but we can look it up on Wikipedia. I have it pulled up here too. This is great.
Yeah. But so Box Office Mojo says that it's the 2010 re-release is like 40 grand.
Oh.
The 2020 re-release is like $2,000.
You fucking IMDb, you little bitch. All right, Wikipedia says about the box office. Okay, here. Enter the Dragon was one of the most successful films of 1973. Upon release in Hong Kong, it grossed $3.3 million, which was huge business for the time, but less than Lee's previous 1972 films, Fist of Fury and Way of the Dragon. So a little bit less than his previous films, which is very interesting, especially since he just died. You would think it would get a little bit of like the ledger bump,
Yeah.
In North America, upon its release in August 1973 in 4 theaters in New York, the film entered the weekly box office charts at number 17 with a gross of $140,000 in 3 days in 4 theaters.
So already more than
damn.
Yeah, whatever that IMDb is just going by the 2010 re-release.
Like be specific.
Yeah.
Let's see. In October,
100,000 in 3 days.
It says 140,000 in 3 days in 4 theaters only.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it went on to gross 25 million from its initial North American release.
That's what I said.
Oh, you nailed. Wait, I said you blew it. I said you really fucking blew it.
And I actually got it dead
in reality, you fucking nailed it. That's great.
25 million. All right.
That's great. Let's see. By 1982, the film had grossed a total of 100 million in the United States.
100 million. Wow.
So I don't know. So 10 years, within 9 years, it grossed 100 million. In Europe, it also did pretty well. But they only have ticket numbers.
Is there an overall?
They only have ticket sales for that. In Greece, it earned 1 million in its first year of release. In Spain, it sold 2.4 million tickets. And in Germany, it sold 1.7 million tickets. So you do the math.
Yeah.
It was one of the world's highest grossing films of all time up until that point.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, when
Because
you
it
gross
kept-
$100 million.
I mean, this is, back in the 70s and early 80s, like,
Yeah.
that's before video.
Went on to have multiple re-releases around the world over the next several
Yeah.
decades,
you're
significantly
gonna
increasing
keep-
its worldwide gross.
Yeah. 'Cause if you wanted to see it again, you had to see it in a theater.
It went on to gross 150 million by 1987, more than 200 million by 1994. So not only did it have a cultural impact at its time, it continued to have cultural impact throughout the decades.
Wow.
Over time,
So
it
my
is still among the top 50 all-time highest-grossing films in 1990.
Oh.
Whatever. Oh, by 1990.
yeah, because
In
you said it was
1990
like 200 million at that point.
Yeah, in 1998, it grossed more than 1998. It topped 300 million.
Whoa!
By the 2010s, it had grossed an estimated total worldwide of 350 million.
That's what I said.
Did you really?
I said 300. Well, I was like,
On the
the
high
first one's
end?
going to be like 15, but then
Yeah.
I changed it to 25.
Yeah.
Then I said on the high end, it'll be 350.
Equivalent to approximately 1.2 billion adjusted for inflation.
Wow.
Having earned about 410 times its original budget. The film's cost to profit ratio makes it one of the most commercially successful and profitable films of all time.
There you go.
So
I was
yeah.
like pretty dead on.
Yeah.
350.
Yep. You sure did.
How about that?
You sure did nail it there. I apologize. I apologize.
So even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
I guess. But don't get used to that. All right, kid. We don't flip the script all that often, okay? Although we will be doing it a lot this year. Okay.
Or will we?
So that's numbers. Are we gonna do a reboot recast of this? I mean,
No, it's a cultural icon. It doesn't seem right.
who the fuck can be Bruce Lee? I mean, you have the people that
I'm
have
sure
tried to
there's-
be Bruce Lee.
I'm sure
and
there's
they're all old
People
now.
in the martial arts cinema that, anybody that's into that still.
Yeah.
Like I said, like there was a time where Tony Jaa was this huge name, but I
Yeah.
think he's pretty old now.
Well,
He's
but
like in his
also
40s.
also fucking Bruce Lee is an anomaly too, because he was an actual martial arts master before he became a movie star. So
Well, what about Jackie Chan? Wasn't
literally
he-
both of those things. Well, yeah, I'm just saying that like you have to
Yeah.
consider that if
Well,
you're gonna recast Bruce Lee,
yeah,
you can't
and I
just
know,
throw
like-
any schmo in
Well,
there.
yeah, it's all like Tony Jaa was a
But
martial
Jackie
arts
Chan
guy.
is
and
too old.
Jackie Chan was
Jet
a martial
Li
arts guy. Jet
also,
Li.
but he's too old.
Yeah, there's
So what can you do?
Well, I just say recast it with Keanu Reeves because
Okay.
he knows kung fu.
Well, and my go-to move.
Remember
if
that
there's
documentary,
nobody
The
else,
Matrix? He goes, "I know kung fu." There you go,
There you go. That works. And my go-to for if there's nobody else,
Christian Bale
The Rock.
and The Rock.
Yeah,
We're back to The Rock. We're going back to The Rock.
Back to The Rock.
See, that's what we got to do. Is we got to do those Fast and Furious movies.
Oh man,
But,
I
like-
can't wait.
You'll just have to watch the first 4 because I want to start with 5.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. Well, just read the wiki. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because they really take off at 5.
Okay, that's what you keep trying to tell me.
So that since you're the
Well,
host this
I
week,
guess that wraps it up. Is there anything else that you wanted to say, Chase?
no, I didn't rate this movie though.
Yes, we need the rating, of course. How could we forget? Okay, Chase, here's the moment of truth. Everyone wants to know. This is your first time seeing Enter the Dragon. This is a rare occasion where you get to do a rating. What is your official rating for Enter the Dragon?
Out of 10
Mm-hmm.
praying mantis fights.
Nice. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
They flew those praying mantises in from Hawaii,
Is that true?
and they could not get them to fight.
I mean, when I was watching, I was like, what does PETA think of this shit?
Yeah, right.
Like,
well,
I mean, like technically they're
I
not
think-
doing anything bad.
I think PETA started because of this movie. It was a young founder of PETA was like,
So-
"Hey, you can't do that."
Out of 10 praying mantis fights, or out of 10 just appetizing dishes full of chicken feet,
Uh huh.
out
Wanna
of
bet?
10 Chinese men with Hitler mustaches,
Chinese Hitler.
out of 10 villain POV shots,
Nice.
I gotta give it 8.5.
Whoa.
Big scab.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Nice.
For the type of movie it is, it's
Yeah.
like it's a 9.5.
Okay.
But just like overall
For
as
your
a film,
personal taste.
I would say 8.5.
Okay.
But like if you're going for this aesthetic, I get why this is the go-to.
right.
It's fucking cool. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things where they just like very exploitation film style where it's just like there's a lot of genres being thrown in together.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the blaxploitation with Williams. You got the spy
Right,
shit.
right.
You got the martial arts.
Yeah.
You got the villain with like the crazy weapons.
Yeah. Right.
Prostitutes and drugs. Like, there's a
Yep.
lot going on.
Yep,
There's a
yep.
lot going on.
Yeah.
And-
It's got it all.
For having the simplest plot, it sets it up that it's going to be a very convoluted plot.
Yeah.
It's like you think it's going to be this espionage. Like he's got to go like find intel on what they're doing, and he just stumbles in,
Yeah.
sees it, and then kills them all.
Right.
So like it's not.
Yeah.
There's no.
Right.
There's no spy behavior.
Right. He's like, as soon as the guy was like, we just need you to get information, you knew Bruce Lee was going to go kill those motherfuckers.
they're dead.
It's like, yeah, sure, information. All right, yeah, I got you. Wah! But like, okay, so this is another thing I wanted to ask you. Well, is a twofold question. Because this is your first ever Bruce Lee film.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It is.
So
that I'm aware of.
I gotta know, how impressed were you by Bruce Lee's fucking martial arts that he displayed in the movie? Was that an aspect of the movie where you're like, dude, this guy is insane, look at how fast he is? Like, how were you like as blown away as the world was by
was times
watching
where
him
I was like,
fight?
I literally caught myself saying, man, it looks like they sped that up. And then I realized that they didn't, because I've heard that before,
They
that
had-
he moves so fast
They
had
had to slow it down. Yeah.
which is probably one of the reasons they do a lot of the slow-mo.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was moving too fast for camera.
Was that so? Would you say that was something that you were like, man, that's so cool? I mean, like it's one of those things. I feel like how I missed the boat with Indy as a kid. I feel like you missed the boat with Bruce Lee as a kid, because as a kid watching it, you're like, holy shit, this guy is like insane with how good he is, and like knowing that he's really doing this shit.
Yeah.
Not like really killing people, obviously, and he's not really punching anybody, but those are his actual fucking movements. Is that something that was just like you were just like, man, this is cool?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was really neat.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that being said, are you now going to become one of those people that just like only watches martial arts movies?
No.
Do you think the martial arts genre is something that you're going to dip into a little bit more?
I mean, like I've said, I've
interest,
watched my share of stuff. Not a lot of the older stuff.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Are you going to become a big Tarantino head, and you know what I mean? Like how he gets about,
No.
he watches something
But
and he,
I am. I'm like, so last year for one of my classes, the Myth and Film class, we had to watch the Samurai trilogy.
yeah, which we're going to be covering.
No, we're going to be doing Akira Kurosawa.
Yeah.
The director. He did other samurai movies, not the
trilogy.
Samurai trilogy.
Nice.
Same actor though.
Okay.
So I started watching that, and now I've gotten on a big kick of the samurai movies.
Yeah.
Seven Samurai and Yojimbo, and so I'm like kind of going into that. So in that way, yeah, I
Mhm.
did, but this doesn't make me want to like watch a bunch of.
Right. Well, those are Japanese
Old-
films, though.
And they're
Totally different.
it's a different Asian cinema.
Different style too.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, that's good. I know that some people, you know those kinds of people I'm talking about that are just like some people are just like fucking kung fu movie heads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
I mean, it is definitely a genre.
I mean, Tarantino did a 2-part, movie that we probably could have all done without because of it. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about Kill Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking love Kill Bill.
It's okay.
It's also more. This uses a lot of Akira Kurosawa, and,
Right.
and actually takes some stuff from the samurai movies as well.
Right.
But yeah, no, I love Kill Bill. I think that one's
It's
one
okay.
of his,
It's not my
one of
favorite.
his
of his.
best.
It's not my favorite.
So.
It's like middle of the pack for me. So anyway, on that bombshell, I don't think we have. Let me get out the plugs. Go if you like what you're seeing, even if you don't like what you're seeing. Share this and tell everyone how fucking shitty it is. Okay, I don't care. Just fucking share it. Hit the like and subscribe button down there on YouTube's. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, TikTok, at The Movie Gap. That's where you find it. Chase, anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, that being said,
Nom in space.